It is Sunday evening, the 1st of November, ahead of the major US elections in a couple of days. I'm having a look at commodities, starting off with gold. So I highlighted this area again in blue. This is where my expectation is that we'll largely range until the evening of the election, or within 48 hours of it, give or take. Then we might likely see a reaction from gold. Now, from a monthly perspective, again, I stand by my assessment that I think it would be very healthy for gold to connect down with 1800 and then resume its longer term uptrend. I am still bullish on the longer term. In the shorter term, I'm bearish. Or I should say on the medium term, I'm bearish. And in the immediate shorter term, I am expecting range-like behavior. Produced a nice little bullish candle, potential swing low. We've broken past these previous lows. We now have a downtrend on the daily, a downtrend on the weekly, and we're overextended on the monthly. Just that implication being that it wouldn't be completely outside of the realm of possibility for gold to head down to 1800. But my default is to expect range-like behavior because of all the general uncertainty, and effectively the market just goes into a coma until it gets a sense of what the outcome of the election is. But as I said, expecting this for now to head either potentially lower or range bound, but not really expecting anything for it to break any high. Of course, if it breaks these recent highs, that would then imply it's now had a rest and looking to go. But all the price action so far is indicating that it's not in a rush to go anywhere, and that in fact we have a daily downtrend and a weekly downtrend. So it's certainly not bullish as a basis. If it did do on the evening of the election suddenly do a massive spike up, then that would obviously be a significant signal. So if there was no election on the horizon, my standing would be no expectation for trading opportunities to the upside in gold. But this election is likely to create some massive spikes, and so we could arrive back this time next week and there could be a big candle all the way up here and it goes straight up to 2000. At the same time, I think as it stands currently, I lean more to the downside. Now, having a look at silver. Silver for me is more or less the same. As gold, I would still like to see it head down towards 21 or as far as 19. Those are kind of different Fibonacci levels, and there's no real, it's got a downtrend on the daily, but it is still largely within a range. It's also got lower highs so far and lower lows on the weekly, so downtrending there, similar to gold. And again, looking to see that, but I'm not going to be participating in any trades that's just too high risk and closer to gambling, in my opinion. Certainly as over the next 3 days, really want to get a sense of what the market is looking for. So copper was kind of on my list as my favorite, but of course what I mentioned was that gold and silver's uncertainty might carry across here. Although it did produce a bullish indecision candle, it never broke the high of that. It's actually broken back down below this level of support, and so that's kind of off my watch list for now because of that breakthrough support combined with the next 3 days. All right, having a look at platinum. Platinum is looking very bearish, very nice and weak. Makes sense for it to head down towards these recent lows. That puts it down towards 826, which is around about down here where this key weekly level is. That would look to be the case, certainly. And again, that supports the idea of some of the precious metals heading lower at least. They're just not looking strong. And it isn't really a case necessarily of it being, I do think it's a myth. I think that there is very little to correlate between gold being a safe haven thing. I think that's been touted in the past. There just really isn't a lot of current evidence to support that idea, so very little correlation. Looking here, testing support. This is now palladium testing support here, and that is quite a solid rejection of that 2,500 level. I've been liking the look of this until I saw this current candle. So with this kind of situation, again, this looks to be heading lower. It's already effectively broken this most recent low. Also looks as though it's potentially broken that low on the weekly, and so this means we're now effectively in ranging territory or potentially a new downtrend. Okay, so that now means the palladium has shifted from on my list for nice buying opportunities, means that this level of resistance is a real problem as opposed to a temporary problem and or temporary challenge, and now my expectation is that it's going to be range bound or trending lower. I'll be very surprised if it then subsequently recovers from that. Moving on to oils. Oils, obviously, watched a bit on my watch list for a while, looking for these to break lower. I'm really going to be keen to see these on the much lower time frames, 1 hour, 30 minutes. In fact, this might be the only instrument that I do look to participate in over the next few days or this week, looking for any retest of previous levels of support as resistance and looking for entry opportunities to the downside. But so far, this is the only one that really has that beautiful monthly downtrend, weekly downtrend, and daily downtrend that time frame agreements, and the momentum is incredibly bearish. And this is also very similar. I produced a standalone video, the link of which will be attached to the end of the video. It'll show in the end credit scene where there's an opportunity to see why I think oil is basically the best money-making opportunity at the moment. And it really is outstanding in many respects. And so again, even here looking at Brent crude, the most bearish of the bunch, almost certainly heading down towards $30 and then potentially further on, or £30 and then further down from there. And then of course, look here, light crude has also broken the previous lows and again has that weekly downtrend, monthly downtrend, and now starting to break lows through on the daily. Again, bearish. Any pullbacks into the moving averages on the lower time frames for me represent immediate money making opportunities. This is now, let's say, a 1 hour time frame. That looks like as though that's a consolidation ahead of a breakout. So that's certainly tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday I'll be looking out for those. But Wednesday, again, anything to do as soon as the election is kind of now front and center, I expect the markets to be incredibly jittery. And that's it. So that's where the best opportunities are for me. Oil, I really like the look of it. Everything else, I'm expecting jitteriness and massive spikes potentially on the evening of the US elections. But best money-making opportunities, safest relatively speaking, is oil. The rest look actually slightly weaker more than anything else. So I'm leaning towards gold heading lower. As I said, any spike to the upside would just be due to unexpected volatility. There we go. Have a great week.